Hey everybody, welcome to Running Reimagined. For those of you that don't know, my name is Coach Dylan, and in this Facebook Live, we're going to go over 4 key tips for brand new runners trying to run their first 5K. Over the last week or so, I've received a lot of messages from new runners who are trying to run their first 5K. There's some of them are coming up here in March. And whether this was a New Year's resolution sort of thing, trying to be able to run that first 5K, or maybe it was a goal that they had set for 2019. They've never run a 5K before. They didn't have any experience with it, and so this is kind of their step into running. So that's who this video is for, is really for those brand new runners. If you are a runner out there and you've consistently run, I know you probably know those people that are just trying to dive into running, or maybe they're kind of struggling with that a little bit. This is really the best video for them. So if you know those people, feel free to tag them in the comments, because I put together 4 key tips that really build, I think, the foundation, the consistency that new runners will need. Obviously, there's a lot of different variables in training for each person, but I think that these 4 things really kind of go across the board and will really help build a foundation for newer runners. So as you guys pop on, feel free to let me know where you're watching from. It is Super Bowl Sunday here in the US, and I'm currently just outside of the city of Seattle, and it is snowing. There's snow everywhere. So I wanted to do this quick Facebook Live to be able to put these 4 key tips out there, and then I wanted to go out and go for a run out there in the snow, because it looks like a lot of fun. So just diving right in, again, as you guys join, feel free to let me know where you're joining from down below, and then I can be able to give you a shout out. I always love to see where you guys are watching from. Having said that, I'll dive right into the tips here. So again, 4 key tips for brand new runners trying to run their first 5K. I've gotten a lot of messages over the last week or so for new runners really trying to dive in. So the number 1 tip that I would recommend for new runners as they're getting ready for their first 5K, the first thing is consistency. Really make sure that you're being consistent, and you really create a schedule that fits within your lifestyle. Hey Joe, how you doing? Hey Darren, I can see you guys are watching. Feel free to let me know that you guys are watching down below in the comments. Again, hey Joe, yeah, there you go. So yeah, feel free to let me know where you guys are watching from as you guys join. So the first tip for new runners really trying to get into their first 5K, I think, is consistency. I think it's the best thing that you can do is be consistent with your training. Having said that, what you really need to do is create a schedule for yourself, looking at your lifestyle right now, and make sure that your training is going to fit within that lifestyle. So not throwing too much on your plate. I think one of the worst things that you could do is go out and create a schedule with all these different things that you can do to get yourself prepared, and then it just doesn't fit your lifestyle, and it just doesn't set you up for success. So really making sure that it fits your lifestyle. Having said that, I would recommend really going out there at probably 3 times a week. The reason I would recommend at least 3 times a week would be to really build the habits and the patterns. I think a lot of newer runners, they'll go out and they'll run maybe once a week, and then they'll just kind of quit because they don't see any results. But it's that consistency, and it's getting through those first couple weeks. Then you're going to start to see results, and really not putting too much pressure on yourself, or really setting the expectations for yourself. So when you go out there 3 times a week, really set the expectation, not a standard way up here. Instead, choose like just amount of time that you have to be out there running. Now, walking is okay. You don't have to be out there running the whole time, but choosing, like, say you have to be out there for 20 minutes. If 20 minutes sounds easy to you, then use like a 20-minute barrier. And so 3 times a week, you have to go out and you have to run, for 20 minutes. And that could be running, it could be walking, but no matter what, you're out there, consistently doing it 3 times a week. And so then that way, once you get out there and once you start to get in the rhythm of doing it, and you get past your first week and then your second week, you're going to start to realize, like, oh, 15, 20 minutes, it's not so bad. and then you're going to want to go further. But just keeping that expectation, it's setting you up for success. It's like those mental tools. It's building that mental framework that's going to, you know, help you be successful, not only to run this first 5K, but then to be able to run 5Ks after it, or build up to a 10K or a half marathon, or, you know, whatever your ultimate goal is. So again, the number one goal there is, or number one tip I would have to say, is consistency. Make sure that you have consistency within your training as you get ready for this for this 5K. So again, for everybody who's just joining on, feel free to put in the comments below. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching. We're going over 4 key tips for new runners, brand new runners trying to run their first 5K. Over the last month, or over the last couple weeks, I've received several messages from people who signed up for their first 5K and they have no idea what to do. So that's really what this Facebook Live is for. If you know those people, feel free to tag them so then they can get this. Diving right into tip number 2 is to not push the pace too hard. So I think the number one mistake that a lot of newer runners make, and they'll go out and do it. It's your friends that you have that go out and they'll try to run, and they'll run really, really hard, and you know, they won't feel good about it, and they'll be like, oh, that's tough, that's hard, you know, it wasn't fun. Well, you know, you don't have to run hard in every single time, especially when you're just getting started in your training. So understanding that there's different paces. So really establishing what an easy pace is, what a moderate pace is, and you know what a hard pace is. And so just when you're getting started here to get ready for your first 5K, you don't necessarily have to do anything that's hard, but just to go out and put in the time and put in the work. It takes a long time to be able to build an aerobic base. So if you're just out there and you start to feel maybe your heart rate, or you're just starting to breathe too hard, kind of take a step back and maybe either walk for a few steps to let your heart rate come back down, or just really slow down, because it's okay to slow down. And I know that's hard, and I know you have to be patient to be able to do that, but it really will you know, help you after this first 5K into the next one and into the next one. A lot of these points that I have here are really trying to build to help you be successful, not only, you know, in the beginning of your running career, but so you can have a long, successful running career. And also, we'll get to it, is one of my later points, but you know, getting to that 5K start line healthy. That's the most important thing, is to make sure that you get to the start line healthy. Otherwise, you know, then you can't do the race. So the number 2 point is really just not pushing the pace and understanding that walking is okay. So that could be, and what really will help you as well, is that you'll find a lot of runners will say this: the first mile is always deceiving. So you might go out and you're trying to work out the kinks from, you know, maybe sitting at a desk all day, or maybe you just woke up and your body isn't warmed up yet. So, you know, if you're brand new to running, maybe you go out and you just walk for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and you kind of pick up that walking pace and allow your body to get warm. So then when you go out and you actually start running, it's going to feel so much better, instead of just starting cold and going out and running. So really, but then again, if you start to feel your heart rate come up, just go ahead and walk, and then come back and start to jog again. So yeah, that's tip number 2, is to don't push the pace too hard. Tip number 1 was consistency, really making sure that you're building a training schedule that fits your lifestyle and doesn't totally, you know, change it or uplift it. Tip number 3, and I think this is a really important one, and it's one that I think a lot of people miss, and it's getting in a good pair of running shoes. At the beginning, as you're just getting started, that doesn't mean you have to go out and buy, you know, the nice $125 pair of running shoes. Don't let that be a barrier to entry. Just make sure you're in good, you know, athletic shoes. And then as you get into it, and then you are looking to buy your first pair of running shoes, make sure that you go, if this is your first time ever buying running shoes, go to a running specific store. The reason for that is that they're gonna watch you walk in your pair of shoes. and they're going to see which way your feet move as you plant down. And they're going to be, the running shoes are built for different gaits and different styles, the way your foot strike is, to not try to overcomplicate it too much. And so basically they'll match you in the right pair of shoe that you might need, depending on the way your foot strike is. So that I would really recommend, once you are looking to buy a good pair of running shoes, go into your running specific local store, because they're really going to know what they're looking for there. But again, don't let that be a barrier of entry. As you're just getting started, make sure you're just in good athletic shoes that are really going to help you out here. So tip number 3 is to get in a good pair of shoes, because that's going to help you get to the start line healthy. It's going to help you be able to run much longer and be healthier during the process. So again, just going back through, tip number 1 was consistency, really building a training schedule that fits your lifestyle and doesn't overwhelm you. Set yourself up for success. Tip number 2 was don't push the pace too hard. Most new runners, they go out and they just try to run as hard as they can for 5 minutes, and then they don't feel good about it, and then they just quit. And don't do that. Allow yourself to take a notch back and understand that it's okay to run slow and allow your body to warm up throughout the process. And then tip number 3 was to really get in a good pair of running shoes. So hey Matt, how you doing? I see you're watching. As you guys are joining, feel free to comment in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, this is Super Bowl Sunday here in the US. We are almost an hour away from the game, so I figured I would get into Facebook Live before, because otherwise no one's going to be watching. So, and then the last tip I had for you, the 4th tip for brand new runners trying to run their first 5K, is creating a good goal that's going to set yourself up for success. So I would stay away from any sort of time goal. If this is your first 5K ever, you don't need to put a time goal out there. You're going to run what you're going to run, and as long as you focus on the performance aspect, then the time will be what it'll be. And as you go through more training and more races, you're going to learn so much that first time is going to get demolished as you go through your training and more race experience. So I would really set more of a goal of just making it really simple for yourself, of just getting to the start line healthy and then getting to the finish line healthy. And you guys can make the goal your own, but I would really just make it as simple as that. Just really get to the start line healthy, get to the finish line healthy, and not worry about time or pace or anything like that. Just enjoy the experience. I think what is really fun about the running community and in a lot of these races is that everybody is just everybody's in such a good mood, and everybody's so willing to communicate and help you out and pick you up. I think if you've never been to a running race before, there's whether it's the people cheering you on the side, or you can get in really good conversations with people in the race too. So really just enjoy that first experience. So that's really what I had. The first, just the 4 tips I had for you, 4 key tips to setting yourself to running your first 5K. I think over the last couple weeks, I received messages from multiple people saying that their kind of New Year's resolution or their goals were to get into running for the first time and to run a 5K for the first time. So I felt it was important to come up with these tips. If you know somebody who's going through this and trying to start for the first time, go ahead and tag him in this video, share this video with him, because I think that this can really be helpful, these 4 tips, because it can really stretch across the board and help build a really solid foundation for their future in running. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. As always, if there's something else that I can help you with specifically, either put it in the comments or message the Running Reimagined page, and I'd be happy to help you with that. And I hope you guys, if you're here in America, have a good Super Bowl Sunday. And here in Seattle, it has been snowing for the last 2 hours now, and so I'm going to go out and get in a good run. So have a great Sunday, guys, and take care.